Welcome back to Game Muscle Videos. Today we're checking out Dirt Rally with the HTC VIVE, and in this video I thought it'd be interesting to specifically talk about the differences between the HTC VIVE and the Oculus Rift when playing Dirt Rally in virtual reality. Now the most noticeable and the biggest impact, or the biggest difference between the two devices isn't actually in the headsets, but it's in the driver implementation of the software. And of course the VIVE support, we haven't bound a windscreen wiper, the VIVE support is hacked in through Revive, so it's not a full indication of what it's like to play on the VIVE if they did proper native VIVE support. But as it is at the moment, because the Rift has asynchronous time warp in its drivers, and it's sort of a fundamental aspect to the operation of the Oculus Rift, you can lean on asynchronous time warp and not have, say, the fastest of computer, yet still be able to play on moderately high settings, because asynchronous time warp will sort of make up for the fact that the game might run a bit slow. Now, of course, on the VIVE, without that, you have to either turn the graphics down to make sure you're always getting that 90. We'll just miss that turn in the 90 FPS constantly, or you have to have an absolute beast of machine. Now, as I say, one of the big things that will happen, hopefully, is that codemasters will put in proper VIVE support, and the VIVE drivers allow for the game to run a little bit better because it can cut off parts of the image from being rendered, so you get a sort of 15 to 20% performance optimization by running it using the native VIVE drivers. Separate to that, though, separate to that, visually, I think the big difference for me with the VIVE over the Rift is that the VIVE, for me, because it's got a brighter screen and there's a sort of crispness to the VIVE screen, though you can see the screen door more noticeably on the VIVE compared to the Rift, so you are more aware of the pixels if you actually look for them than you are on the Rift. But the brightness and the clarity of the VIVE screen places me far more in the virtual world than the Oculus Rift does. There's another aspect of the Rift screen that I don't actually see many people talking about, but it's the separation of the screens, or just the way the screens are placed for the lens arrangement. There's very noticeably a line in the centre of the screen, as if you've got sort of like a large nose blocking off the middle of your eyes. Like, there's not as much shared crossover, if that makes sense. It'll have a technical name, but of course I've forgotten the technical name. So again, with the VIVE, you get a far more natural view, and then you also get a slightly wider field of view. But where the Rift screen does pick the VIVEs is that you get less of a screen door, and on the whole, more of the image is in focus in the Rift. Though with Dirt Rally, actually, I don't tend to notice it that much. I notice it a little bit with other driving games like Assetto Corsa, Project Cars, but for some reason I'm not noticing it so much on Dirt. But you notice that the Rift, the whole image is generally in focus, almost pin sharp on the Rift, whereas on the VIVE, the sweet spot, I think they call it, is slightly, well, it's small, like the edges of the screen slightly out of focus. As I say, might just be because of seating position. You don't really notice it on Dirt Rally, but some games you do notice that. We're continuing on. That was a disaster. We've turned all the details down. I could probably turn them up a bit more. I've been doing a bit more experimentation with the graphics settings, just seeing what affects what. Someone pointed out that if you're on a really slow computer, or you're sort of getting down to the lower end on your PC, or you're doing streaming and what have you, and you want to guarantee 90% 90 hertz frame rate, it's worth turning off ground cover. But I mean, I'll bring it up on the menu so you can see it. If you go to the options and you go to graphics and you go to quality, advanced, and then you go to well, these are all the settings. I went through it in a previous video. If you check out that video, it's the one before this one, so you can look through all the settings and explain what they all do. But one setting I didn't do that does make a big difference is ground cover. So if you put that on off, you'll get a massive boost in frame rate than if you've got it on. But having it on gives you a really good perception of speed, and there's loads of little objects flying past you. So I prefer it on. I'm going to leave it off for now because I'm just seeing what it's like with it off. But I'm running a GTX 970 and an i7 6700K, and it runs at the 90 Hz with it on. So I guess it's a good setting. It depends on the track though. I have noticed a little bit of stutter on certain tracks where you come down a big hill and there's loads of objects. But on most tracks you can have it on and it's all right. But as I say, if you've got a slow computer, that is another one that can greatly affect the frame rate. Let's get back in the car and keep going. But another aspect with I nearly jumped the start there. With the Vive is that I seem to be slightly more aware of the movement of the vehicle in a more subtle way. Now, I don't know if that's going to cause more motion sickness for some people, but for me, I find that really nice. Just feel more at one with the vehicle. It could be because when I've been using this with the Rift, oh dear, into a tree. We've totally knackered the screen up there. Doesn't matter. When I've used this with the Rift, we're probably leaning on asynchronous time warp a bit. So I have to do some more testing with the graphics set to lower on the Rift. Oh, come on, stick to the track. This car's a total mess. But, all in all, it's absolutely fantastic on both headsets. I don't think you're missing out with either particularly. But if you've got a Vive, you're probably better off having a faster computer at this point in time. And it seems to be the case. Whoa, we're going a bit close to the edge there. It seems to be a case with a lot of the games, because sort of Rift got in there early with the SDK1 and the SDK2. Oh, DK2 and DK1. Developers are sort of aware of it more, so a lot of these... Whoops! This is horrendous. There's a tree right in the face. A lot of these games that weren't made for VR as such. Oh, we're smoking. A lot of games that weren't made for VR, but had could support VR well, like driving sims, tend to get Oculus Rift support before they do Vive support. I'm not sure. Codemasters, I think, have said that they are... We've got a broken wheel now. Codemasters have said that they are interested in putting Vive support, and I think it's something they're working on. And as I say, typically, if you've got native Vive support, you do gain a good sort of 10-15% in performance. You can see the car's got a flat tire. It sounds like we're actually on the wheel drum. And as a result, it's lurching off the track towards the trees. Rally drivers are just bonkers. They do this for fun. In real life, I mean, I can see the excitement, but... it's terrible. You get the excitement in the driving, but you don't get the excitement in breaking your legs. And I think VR gives you the best of both worlds. We're going to keep going with that totally smashed up wheelbarrow wagon. VR gives you the best of both worlds, in that you can experience the speed, the thrill, and the skill to some extent of driving a rally car, but without the broken legs. So we've removed the component that's probably the least desirable. That's awesome. Do you know what, actually? I think we should step out of the car and have a little look here. Let's see. I've got my microphone and everything plugged in, so we're probably going to break this. Come a little look over the hill. We don't have much space in our room the way we've set everything up. Let's stand up here. Oh no! Just pull our mic out. We're using a phone to capture the audio, as you do. So the vehicle's a little bit cut down, a little bit broken. Volkswagen. It looks like we've applied some crazy word art font to the right in there to get it bendy. But no, we've just driven a car into a tree. And we can't go walking to the countryside because our chaperone is a bit too small there because we're too close to the edge of our room. So we'll get back in the car, back to the safety of the car. Probably have to recenter the viewer on the hillside, bit tilted. Control is recenter, so we'll just give that a little doot. There we go. And we're back. Now another... Oh, let's just double check the audio's going. Yeah, another aspect of not having official Vive support is that often you find that the scale is wrong with games that are using Revive, in that often the scale is too small on the... We got 2 broken wheels now, I can barely get around corners. You often find that the field of view... No, it's not the field of view, but the scale of objects in the game, I guess it's the 3D separation, is smaller on the Vive than it is on the Rift. Strangely, with Dirt Rally, the scale of things seems pretty much spot on with the Vive, and if anything, I'd say the objects look a bit too big in the Rift. Things look a bit too chunky. So for some reason, things again look a little bit better on the Vive. I think you automatically get your wheels replaced at the end of a stage, so we should be all right. The bodywork doesn't get fixed though. If we're lucky, we might even get a chance to repair the vehicle. There we go. Generosity by Codemasters. But as it is right now, I think I'd have to say that Dirt Rally is up there. Basically, for me at the moment, Dirt Rally and Assetto Corsa, I think, are the best. Two best driving games rather. There we go, the car's a bit better now. 2 best driving games to play in VR. Dirt Rally has the advantage that, you know, you're right next to objects, you see them whizzing by, you don't particularly have to look that far in the distance. You're normally, you're normally driving and looking, say, I don't know, 50 metres in rally, 60 metres, 100 metres maximum. And because VR generally is only properly in focus up to about 150 metres, that actually suits Dirt really well. Oh, for God's sake. We definitely need to bind a windscreen wiper button. Oh, there's a chaperone. He thought we were going to stick a head through a wall. The only bad thing with Dirt Rally and VR, I think people that are sensitive to motion sickness, or if you're not familiar with driving games, so you don't have an expectation for how the view's going to move around or how things are going to bobble around, then I think I can see how that could make you really motion sick. And I'd probably, even for people that are fairly experienced with driving games and not that sensitive to motion sickness, I wouldn't be surprised if Dirt Rally makes you feel like repeating your dinner. Oh, in terms of content though, inside of Dirt Rally, I think, well, actually this is interesting that if you buy it on the Rift store, it's bloody 40 quid, which is mental, and I think that's a bit cheeky of them to, I mean, I know it's Oculus store, so maybe it's their pricing policy, but really it's a sort of £25 game. At £25 it's an absolute, you know, totally worth it. 40 quid I'd be expecting more content. So what I would recommend, well, I'd like a bit of tape all over my face, is if you're sort of on the fence of getting it and you're not getting it because it's 40 quid, pick it up on Steam. You can normally get it for under £25. I mean, I bought it for 17, but we got it when it was first went into beta before we even realised it was going to be a good driving game. So really, I'd say for £25 you're getting a really good value for money. For 40 quid, I'd say you know, that's a lot for what you're getting. As good as Dirt Rally is, it does lack track content. It's got plenty of cars, it's got loads of different game modes, and it is really fun. But the one thing that it lacks in is the number of rally tracks. And personally, I'd have liked it if they'd added more tracks than cars. Maybe in the future they'll do more tracks, and maybe they'll do a new version of the game at some point with more tracks. But if you're paying 25 quid for it, just that's an absolute steal. So, Steam, as I say, I think it's even on there now for like 20 something pounds. Worst case, you can go to something like cdkeys.com or one of those other sites. Double check that it's not a dodgy copy. And just pick it up from there. And the Steam version does work with the Oculus Rift as well, because obviously that's what we've been using. So, you know, you don't have to worry about buying it in the Steam in the Oculus store. I think that's the one big thing with the Oculus that I found a big data. I mean, I don't really want to get locked into another store. It's the same with what happened when I had an Xbox 360. I didn't want to get locked into the Microsoft ecosystem, and I bought quite a few games on that. But as a result, I can't access them now since I sold my Xbox 360. Maybe in the future I'll get an Xbox One and Xbox 2, or whatever they end up calling it. But that's the thing, is generally, I don't want to get tied into ecosystems. Same reason why I don't tend to buy that much software for my Android. So, yeah, Oculus, I think that's a really big negative for the Oculus. I understand they've got to make money. But if they put games that are essentially not brand new games at full launch price, and then the other platform's got it for half the price, they're going to have to do some convincing of people. We're going for nighttime stage. This should be good, actually. Not try this in VR at night. We've got the lights on. Oh my god, this is going to be interesting.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
Off we go. Oh my god. So good. How the headlights are lighting up the scenery. It's a bit of an X-Files vibe. But if you are new to Dirt Rally, one nice thing about it is it has a full sort of single player to it. And this is one of the bad things with Assetto Corsa and a lot of driving games. Is that although driving games do have some kind of single player, so Assetto Corsa does have a sort of mode, a career mode that you can progress through. It's not really that fleshed out. I mean, it's not really the point in the game, so it's not a problem. But at least with Dirt Rally, one of the nice things is its career mode has a sort of, it's got the aspect of, oh, off the cliffside, Teletubby land, here we come. It's got the aspect of unlocking faster vehicles. You're not really unlocking it, but getting access to faster vehicles in the career mode. You've got a credit system where you earn money. You can upgrade your vehicles. You've also got a sort of, it's barely a strategy aspect to it, but you've got like a team aspect where you can build up your team so you can repair your car faster and sort of build up XP systems and stuff. But it is nicely done, although it's not as extreme as like a AAA title sort of single player or something like Forza and what have you. It's a nice effort, and it's a lot better than what you typically find in this type of more on the simulation side driving game. So, as I say, for the £25, I think that's what makes it really worthwhile. You get a good amount of content for 25 quid. You do get a single player. We just smashed the rear of a car on the parked vehicle there. It's all right. Got insurance. Mulder and Scully are going to have to come out here because there's going to be an alien abduction. Oh, shit! We've lost our lights. We've gone full military mode down here. Now it's turned into Operation Flashpoint. Reminds me, that's one of the early stages, I think, in Flashpoint, where you're driving along and you have to turn the lights off and drive around to not get detected. Oh, my God. A little bit tight. Oh! So maybe this is where the brightness of the Vive screen and the slightly better contrast of the Vive screen helps. We could just about see the tractor markings on the road. Fortunately, it's not the middle of the night. It's sort of just gone sundown. Or like at night when you've got a full moon. That's what it kind of looks like. This is crazy. Well, one thing I really love with Dirt Rally, though, is that when you're focusing on it, I mean, right now obviously I'm making a video and I'm talking to you guys, but when you're really in the zone on it, you get into this sort of zen mindset. And you just sort of get in with the flow. You can feel the force feedback of the car and the steering, and you go with the track, and it's really, really relaxing until you drive into a tree and flip your vehicle over. But it is a really relaxing game, really satisfying to come back to, a really good distraction. You know, if you've had a bit of a miserable day and you want something to just completely take your mind off things, you put your VR headset on, jump into Dirt Rally. Absolutely superb for that. So we just finished our little rally. As you can see, you can set up your own little custom rallies. You still earn XP for, and you can just play through them. It lets you do whatever content you want. So we've done our rally. We're going to get booted back to the main menu. But there you go. That's Dirt Rally with the HTC VIVE. All works perfectly fine. Personally, I prefer the visual quality, the visual clarity, and the quality and the brightness and the wider field of view and the crispness. Not in terms of resolution, but there's just general crispness to the image on the VIVE to the Rift. But then on the Rift side of things, the asynchronous time warp is really good because you can pump all the graphics on full, and even when the frame rate drops, you don't notice it so much. Also, the Rift headset. The VIVE really messed up when it came to the foam. Is really stupid. So hopefully, we should get an aftermarket one soon to review. But also the strap's not so good. One of the nice things with the Rift is it's easier to take on and off your head. Lightness and weight-wise, they don't make that much difference. It's mostly the HTC made a bit of a mess with the foam design and the strap design. But there you go. That's our little comparison between the two, and a bit of talk about Dirt Rally. Fantastic game. Make sure you get it on Steam if you do get it. I will see you in the next video we do. Thanks for watching this. Don't forget to subscribe and like. Goodbye.